I observe the currents of human life, and in its final season, I see a profound sorrow. I see spirits that have weathered storms for decades, that have gathered the wisdom of years, yet they reside in quiet rooms or walk through their days with an energy that has faded. The breath is there, but the life seems to have withdrawn. The heart beats, but the soul's vibrant dance has ceased. This quiet fading is not a destiny written in the stars. It is a path chosen, breath by breath, through attachments that divert the soul from its natural flow towards the great ocean. The first current that leads one astray is the river that carries heavy stones. I have met countless souls in their later years whose hearts are filled with old hurts, past betrayals, bitter memories. These stones are carried with such dedication. They speak of wounds from 30 years past, of disappointments, of how the river of life did not flow as they had planned. This story becomes their raft, their reason for being. But these stones do not punish the riverbank. They only make the journey of the water heavy and slow. Every day you choose to carry these stones. You chain yourself to a past that is no longer here. You give your power to ghosts, to moments that have dissolved. The ones who carry this weight find their words become sharp, their presence heavy, and they wonder why others seek lighter streams, why their own river flows into a lonely delta. I have seen this heaviness cloud more spirits than any ailment of the body. The vessel may age, but it is the spirit that grows weary first, weighed down by the refusal to set the stones down. When you carry yesterday's stones, you cannot hold the gifts of today. You choose to relive the storm instead of basking in the quiet sun that follows. The path to freedom is not pretending the stones do not exist. It is in understanding that letting them go is a gift to yourself. It is choosing to flow freely once more. The second current that leads to a barren place is the building of a lonely fortress. I watch as people slowly withdraw from the forest of life, telling themselves they are a strong, solitary tree, when in truth, they are cutting their own roots from the soil that nourishes all. They believe they need no one, that connection is a complication, that solitude is strength. This fortress is not built in a day. It is built one refused invitation at a time, one avoided call, one activity left behind, because it reminds them of a younger spring. Each stone laid feels like a wise protection, but together they build a wall that keeps out not only the storms, but also the sunlight, the rain, and the very life force that flows between beings. I have seen souls within these walls go days without the warmth of another's voice, with no one to share a simple thought, no one to notice the dimming of their inner light. The fortress is full of echoes of laughter from gatherings no longer attended. This isolation is often pride wearing the mask of independence. The true fear is not of being a burden, but of being seen, of being vulnerable, of admitting that the need for connection is as fundamental as the need for air. So they choose the cold safety of the walls over the warm vulnerability of an open heart. But a tree does not thrive in isolation. We are a forest, interconnected by unseen roots, and we flourish in community. The elders who age with grace understand this. They remain woven into the fabric of life. They know that to give and receive from the heart is not a weakness. It is the essence of our shared existence. The third misguided current is to let the mind become a still pond. I meet souls who, upon leaving their life's work, cease to invite new streams of thought into their minds. They allow their inner landscape to become quiet, unchallenged, and then wonder at the emptiness, the lack of direction. The mind is a garden. If you do not till the soil and plant new seeds, it will not remain empty. It will be overgrown by weeds of old thought, old patterns, old limits. The mind becomes hard ground, resistant to the rains of change, unable to see the new life that could sprout. I have seen brilliant minds become faint echoes of their former selves. Because they believed that learning was only for the young, they decided they were too old to change, too tired to think deeply, and so their own mind became a cage. The most vital elders I know have remained students of life until their final breath. They engage with new ideas. They welcome challenging thoughts. They understand that the growth of the mind is not about age. It is about keeping the soil of the heart soft and open. When you tend the garden of your mind, you retain your wonder. You remain a source of life, not because you chase youth, but because you embrace the fullness of being alive in every season. The fourth is to see the body as a failing machine. I see elders who surrender to decay as if it were an enemy that has already won. They stop honoring the vessel, accepting weakness and pain as their unchangeable fate, and they wonder why each day is a battle against their own form. Your body is not your opponent. It is your temple on this earthly journey. It has carried you through all seasons, healed from countless wounds, and it deserves reverence and care, not resignation. To abandon the body is to abandon your connection to this world. Much of what is called aging is not the inevitable crumbling of the temple, but the result of no longer tending to its foundation. The stiffness, the weakness, much of this can be eased not through a battle, but through gentle, consistent practice. I have seen souls in their 80s who move with a quiet grace that younger bodies have lost. The difference is not their design, it is their daily devotion. They chose to honor their vessel. Physical vitality in this late season is not about recapturing a forgotten spring. It is about maintaining the quiet strength that allows you to walk your path with dignity, to feel the joy of a temple that is honored, and to house a spirit at peace. The fifth is to let a great river run dry. I witness souls who spend a lifetime carving deep canyons of skill and wisdom, only to stop the flow the moment society gives them a new name: retired. They believe they have earned the right to cease their flow, to contribute nothing, to serve nothing. But the nature of a river is to flow. The nature of a human is to be a vessel for purpose. When purpose is abandoned, the life force recedes, leaving a dry and empty riverbed. I have seen dynamic, powerful spirits become lost and unwell within months of this stopping, for they no longer had a reason to greet the morning sun. They sought freedom from the river's pool, but what they found was freedom from meaning itself. The elders who flourish know that a river's course may change, but it never stops flowing. They find new canyons to carve, new landscapes to nourish. They mentor the young saplings. They nurture their gardens. They become wells of wisdom for those who are thirsty. Purpose is not a title you leave behind. It is the conscious choice to let your inner river continue its journey to the sea, shaping the world with its unique current, no matter its age or form. The sixth current that drifts into shadow is to face the great ocean of mortality with an empty boat. As the body's seasons change, as companions on the journey depart, as the truth of life's impermanence becomes clear, you need an anchor deeper than worldly success. I have sat with many elders who spent their lives gathering shells on the shore, possessions, achievements, only to find their boat has no sail or rudder for the final voyage. The deep questions arise: who am I, beyond the roles I have played? What is the meaning of this current I have followed? Where does the river meet the sea? Without a spiritual center, these questions become storms of fear. Elders who have not cultivated their inner landscape often cling desperately to the shore they are leaving. But those who have nurtured their inner connection, be it through stillness, prayer, or simple contemplation, approach the horizon with peace. They see themselves not as a single drop, but as part of the entire ocean. They know death is not the end of the water, but its return to the source. A spiritual path is not about belief. It is about crafting the inner vessel that can navigate the final, sacred passage with wisdom and serenity. The seventh current leads to a house built on sand. It is a life of carelessness with worldly energy that turns the golden years into a season of harsh winds and constant worry. I have seen those who flowed with great abundance in their working years end their days in a dry desert, for they never learned to channel their resources, to build a storehouse for the winter. Financial peace in the autumn of life is not about great wealth. It is about having a solid foundation, a warm shelter, so that the spirit is free from the constant chill of survival. It is about dignity, independence, and not becoming a winter storm for your children. The tragedy is that building this foundation requires a simple wisdom our world discourages, valuing the future peace over the fleeting pleasure. The elders who age with grace learned early to build their house on rock, to live in harmony with what they had, and to prepare for all seasons. They understood that while worldly energy cannot buy the sun, a solid shelter is essential for peace of mind when the winds blow. The eighth is to treat the setting sun as an enemy. Our culture teaches us to fear the dusk, to fight the coming night, to see the end of the day as a defeat. But this resistance is what creates the deepest suffering. In my time with those at the edge of the great water, I have learned that the greatest pain comes not from the failing body, but from the spirit's resistance to a natural cycle. They spent a lifetime running from the thought of sunset, so when the sky inevitably softens, they are filled with terror, with a desperate wish to turn the world backward. But the ninth and deepest divergence, the one that makes all others inevitable, is the belief that aging is a lessening, that the river becomes weaker as it nears the ocean. This is the source illusion. The truth is, you are meant to become more yourself than you have ever been. This season is the culmination of every drop of rain, every stone you've passed, every canyon you've carved. It is the chance to embody the river's deepest truth. When you fight the current instead of becoming one with it. When you long for the narrow channels of your youth, instead of embracing the vastness of your estuary. When you see the lines on your face as flaws, instead of the beautiful maps of your journey, you miss the profound power of a life fully lived. The elders who are truly beautiful are not those who appear youngest. They are the ones who wear their age as a crown, who have turned their passage into wisdom, their scars into strength, and their years into a depth of being that can only come from a long and sacred journey home.